Hi, my name is Valeria Ibarra. I'm from Prevatec Campus Cumbres and my ID number is A01570-578.
Hi, I am David Riojas. My ID is A01720-745 and I am from Campus Santa Catarina.
Hi, my name is Eugenio Villarreal. I'm from Campus Cumbres. My ID number is A01570-619.
Hi, my name is Esteban Gordado. I'm from Campus Santa Catarina. My ID number is A01720-659.
This is the graph that represents exponential growth. As we can see, it never stops, which is represented in its range that goes from 0 to positive infinite. The reference point is represented as 0,1, meaning x equals 0 and y equals 1. And the domain of the graph are all the real numbers.
On April 26, 1986, at 1:26 a.m., the Chernobyl nuclear reactor disaster happened in Chernobyl, Ukraine, in border with Soviet Union, Russia, back then. This happened when an extremely hot nuclear fuel rods were lowered into cooling water. Because of this, an immense amount of steam was created, which in result created more reactivity in the nuclear core. This detached the 1,000-ton plate covering the reactor core, releasing 190 metric tons of uranium dioxide fuel and fission products into the atmosphere. Consequences: it caused more than 60,000 cases of thyroid cancer due to radioiodine. It also eliminated substantial amounts of food for human consumption. Facts: 1. The steam of the explosion and fire released 5% of the reactor core into the atmosphere. 2. Since 2011, Chernobyl was officially declared a tourist attraction. 3. This reactor disaster was a consequence of the Cold War. 4. The nuclear disaster is the worst human-made disaster in history. 5. It released 100 times more radiation than Hiroshima and Nagasaki atom bomb. An avalanche breakdown is a physical example of exponential growth because every time there is more snow falling down. Pyramid schemes like OmniLife and Herbalife are companies that maintain themselves by hiring people and then requesting those people to hire more people, and so on. Exponential decay. The inverse square is basically a physical law stating that a specified physical intensity is inversely proportional to the square of the distance from the source of that physical quantity. The half-life exponential decay. High-level radioactive waste from nuclear plants takes thousands of years to reduce down to a safe level.
Exponential growth is a constant rate of growth applied into a continuously growing base over a period of time. The exponential function is written as f of x equals b to the x power. The main characteristic of exponential growth is that it never stops rising. Exponential decay is the exact opposite of exponential growth, as in it never stops falling. In theory, nuclear energy is clean energy because it doesn't release CO2 gases to the atmosphere. The gases that you see leaving the reactor's chimney is water vapor. You have to take into consideration the pros and cons of using nuclear energy, since it can be very helpful by using it as a resource of a source of energy, or it can also be very catastrophic by causing radioactive waste and nuclear accidents, like the one in Chernobyl.
Yes, we are aware of the nuclear energy plant in Mexico. The power plant is in Laguna Verde, Veracruz, Mexico. Yes, we agree with having a nuclear power plant in our country as long as it receives the proper maintenance and be used with good meanings. Yes, the Chernobyl disaster could be prevented, according to Bela Liptak, former professor of process control at Yale. Automation safety regulations could have prevented the Chernobyl accident. No, once the explosion started and the atom started to split, there was no way going back. Yes, radiation of that level could only stop at Ukraine, but reach the whole world, many places less than others.
There were a lot of environmental consequences. One of them was the spread of radioactivity in 200 square kilometers. After the accident, radioactive iodine contaminated agricultural plants and animals in part of Ukraine and Russia. The production of agriculture stopped for 2 months because the, of the big amount of radioactivity killed plants and the farmers need to harvest again. Oceans and rivers also get damaged, but in all the first week, the radioactivity decreased by the surroundings of soil. The difference is that nuclear reaction caused more damage and released more radioactivity when exploding. The nuclear weapons are made to destroy. When the bomb explodes, it causes the radioactivity so powerful and so fast that it creates a shockwave that burns all in its way. Also cause mutations, and then it comes the fallout, which means the radiation goes into the sky, and when it rains, it's a radiation rain.
We think that the consequences damage the world in a very bad way. We think all nuclear weapons should be made for a good purpose, not for threatening other countries or to show more power. We felt very good making our project because it was not that difficult. Actually, we liked to work with like this because we got to know new people and it is something we have not experienced. What we liked the most about all of the teammates is the work and that everyone was compromised and we made a really good project.